Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Lainey Goff and I am a current Outschool teacher. I'm here to help you get hired and to get noticed by parents, right? Is that what we're doing? I just lost my mind a little there. Anyway, so I'm here to help you get hired and to get noticed by parents on Outschool so that you can get full bookings for your classes and meet your top potential of what you can do and offer on Outschool. Today we're here to talk about Nearpod. If you missed my last video, go check it out. I talk a lot about what features Nearpod has to offer, how you can use it in your classroom to increase engagement and interaction from your learners. Today, I'm here to talk to you about how you set it up at Outschool, how you set up using Nearpod with your live classes, whether that's a one-time class, ongoing, or multi-day class, and also how you can use it in your, what's the other option? Flex class. Oh, maybe I shouldn't be recording this video today. So if you're not already doing so, make sure that you go ahead and follow me on Instagram. I talk a lot about Outschool on there. I also have many Outschool highlights with a ton of information. I also like to share other Outschool teachers' classes that they have. So you can always feel free to DM me on there and I'll be happy to share your class. I have a highlight. It's called Outschool by You. So send me a message. Come say hello. And also, if you haven't already done so, make sure you hit that subscribe button with the notification bell so that you can be up to date on all things Outschool. My next video is going to be My next video is going to be all about how I create my own Nearpod lessons. I'll walk you through how I do it in Canva and how I transfer it over to Nearpod, what my process looks like. It doesn't necessarily have to look exactly like yours, but maybe it'll give you some inspiration. So that's what's coming next. So without further ado, let's get started learning about how to set up Nearpod in your Outschool classes. I really should not be recording this video today. I'm going to just share my screen. Hang on. Okay, so as you can see here, right now I am in Nearpod, which I have the link down below in case you need it, but it's nearpod.com. Before I get started in showing you how you can set up for a live class or a pre-recorded or flex class, I want to talk to you about the subscriptions. I get asked this a lot about, do you have to pay for Nearpod? All the time I get that question. So you have options. The first thing I want to say is that up until yesterday, I have been using the free version of Nearpod. You get all of the features that I showed you in my last video, you get with the silver subscription, which is free. The only difference between the subscriptions, really the main thing in regards to being an Outschool teacher that I see that you'll need, is that the other subscriptions give you more storage. So you can see here I have a number of lessons currently in my Nearpod library. These are ones that I've created. And I have had all of these in here until yesterday. I had plenty of room. Yesterday I got a notice that I didn't have enough room. I didn't have enough space and I needed to purchase another subscription in order to increase the amount of storage that I have with Nearpod. So I went ahead and I purchased the gold subscription. And like I said, for Outschool, the main benefit is just getting that increased storage. And it was $120 for a year. Again, to me, worth it. May not be the same for you. Also, you may not have as many lessons as I do in here. Right now I have 2 flex classes going on using Nearpod. And so each one I've created a new Nearpod lesson, and that's why mine is so full, because I have these flex classes going on and I'm utilizing them. But I also have these live classes that are getting ready to get started too. So I'm going to be adding double the amount of what you see here. So I definitely needed that storage space. But again, invest in yourself. I've said it many times in some of my videos. Invest in yourself. If you want to see that success and you want to earn the money that you think you deserve, you have to put in the time, but you also have to put in that investment to show that like you're willing to do that. You may not be able to afford that $120 yet, and that's fine. Go with the silver subscription. Utilize that silver subscription until you can't anymore, which is exactly what I did. Doesn't mean you have to spend $120 right off the bat. If you decide that you love Nearpod and they come to you and they say, yeah, you don't have any more storage, and you're like, dang, what am I going to do? Buy the gold subscription. That's just my opinion. Again, you do you. Okay, so What I'm going to show you first is how you can get started using Nearpod in your live classes. Now, there is something that I am going to be making available to you guys. I'm going to share it at the end of this video, so stay tuned. And it's going to be a resource for you guys to have to give to your Outschool parents. And it's something to kind of spell it out for them, because that's also a question that I get often is, I don't know how to explain this to parents. Like, how do you let them know if they can use a mouse or it has to be touchscreen? How many devices do they need? Blah, blah, blah. I have created a document that you can use and give to your parents that are enrolled in your classes, that really spells it out for them, and you don't have to do all that work. It's all in one place for you, and you don't have to do all that work. I even give you a guide as to how to set these up in your own classes, as far as what to say to parents to make it as smooth and effortless as possible. So stay tuned for how you can get that information at the end of this video. But let's take a look here. If you see here, I'm going to show you, this is one of my live class lessons. I haven't finished it, but it's part of one. And this is what I'll be using in my Dinosaur Geniuses class with Nearpod. It's an interactive lesson with Nearpod. So what I will be doing now, you'll see whenever you hover over one of your lessons, it will say these 3 things, and you can choose which one you want. Now, the live participation in Zoom would be an excellent option if you were teaching virtually, not with Outschool. Outschool already provides you with a Zoom link for every single class. It has a personal Zoom link, an individual Zoom link for every class that they've already created. And you need to keep that Zoom link, because that records it and allows the recordings to stay on Outschool's platform. And that way you can share or not share with the parents, whichever, but you need to be using the Zoom link that Outschool sends you. Don't use this live participation in Zoom. It's not going to do anything good for you. You want to use the one that's in Outschool. So if you're looking at this video from an Outschool teacher perspective, do not use that first one. The second one will be for you. Again, this is for a live class, for one-time classes, ongoing classes, or multi-day classes. So when you click that live participation button, these are ones that I've been practicing on, so you probably won't see these here, but you'll see this blue button here that says Launch New Live Participation. You're going to click that button, and it's going to pop up with a couple of things. It's going to give you options of how you can invite your students to join the Nearpod lesson. Now, the easiest way, and again, the document that I have created, the resource that I've created for you and for Outschool parents, is going to spell all of this out for you and make it very simple. But for now, the best way for you to do this is to click the link button, and it's going to give you the link to your Nearpod lesson. So you're going to click that copy button, and it's going to say copied if you've actually copied it, and you're going to go over to your classroom in Outschool, the classroom tab. Now, I've created a private, this is a fake class that I've created in Outschool. Just so you know, you can create private classes that you can practice on if you need to. But if you go to the classroom tab, which would be where your learners would see any and everything that you post in there. If you post something, typically it's going to be emailed to the parents. So my suggestion for live classes is that prior to the class, 30 minutes to an hour prior to the class, there's something that you should be doing, which is posting the link, the Nearpod link. You're going to cut, you're going to paste, you're going to copy, and you're going to paste it over here into the classroom. And you're going to type out something to them that says, like, parents, please read. This is your Nearpod link for today's lesson. I suggest that you set up Nearpod 5 to 10 minutes prior to the class time, so that we can make sure that your learner is ready to go when class starts. So you can put it here. Again, the resource that I'm providing with you is going to have a blurb that is going to tell you what to say here. If you're looking for some verbiage to use, I provide that in this resource to help you, so that you can have an example or actually use the example that I give to you about what to say to parents in this message. So again, this is something that you're going to put there 30 minutes to an hour prior to class time. You could do it more if you really wanted to, but that's up to you. So post that there, and you'll hit send. When you hit send, it's going to publish it, and it'll be emailed to the parents. Now, keep that link. You're going to still need that link, because then what you'll do is you'll hit start live meeting and it will be time for you to start your class. When you hit start live meeting and your class begins for Outschool at the scheduled time, in the chat box of Zoom, you will paste that link again, just in case there are any learners or parents who were not able to get Nearpod up from that first message that you sent in the classroom tab. So that is how you would do that. So what does that look like when you're in a class and your students have joined in on Nearpod? What does that look like? You'll see here, this is going to be my teacher view screen. Now up here, you'll have the code for your lesson. And then over here, you can even add an activity and a GIF if you need to. Haven't utilized that yet, but in any event that you needed it, you could add a feature, whether that be a slide or virtual reality or something like that. Now over here, you'll see this S. This is the student view, what the student is seeing. So if you wanted to see what the student was seeing, you can click that button to take a look at that. Now down here, you'll see that there are 13 slides. That's how many I have so far in this live lesson. Obviously, I'm going to have more for my real class, but this will show you all of your slides. Over here, it will say show student name, or it will have an X through it to say hide student name so that you can or cannot see it. And what that means is if you click this, then it will show the student name when you're sharing the results with the class, because you have the ability to do that with Nearpod. Kind of like in a class that Molly has taken with Shannon. I'm going to link her classes down below. I can't remember her last name, but my daughter has taken a number of classes with this teacher. Her name is Shannon, and she uses Nearpod, and they're sight word classes with, it's a story that the teacher has created with Pig is the character's name. And once they each complete maybe writing a sight word, the teacher shares what each student has done. So maybe the sight word is clown, and Molly will write clown on the screen at the same time that the other learners in the class will do so. Once their time is up and they've completed that, then the teacher can share each of the students' work that they've done, whether they're drawing a picture or something like that. So if you wanted to share with the class what they've done, you can do so. You'll see over here to the left also, you have the ability to see the student list and what their names are. So this is where you'll go to check to see who is actually on your Nearpod lesson and to make sure that every learner is in Nearpod and can see the screen and is ready to be interactive. So as the teacher, you will be able to control all of the slides. The students will not be able to control any of it as far as going further, going back. None of that. You get to control all of that. So once they get to a screen that is interactive, like this one that comes up is a draw it screen. I'm going to show you my laptop here so that you can kind of see. It's a draw it screen. So this is what the student view looks like. So if it were Molly, she would have to trace the numbers 1 through 3. Just kidding. 1 through 3 like this. That's what it would be like for the student. So you can see on the screen here that what Molly's doing is showing. The progress of it is showing. Now, the students have the ability to hit the submit button if they want, or you can set up a timer in Nearpod on the slides that the students have to be interactive with. So if you add a timer to the interactive slides, the students only have so long to finish it, which is my suggestion, because otherwise, you have to wait for them to hit that submit button. But if you use a timer, if they haven't finished by then, it's going to submit everybody's work no matter what. So again, I would highly suggest using the timer feature on the slides that are interactive in your presentation, in your lesson. So if I hit submit, you can see here, it's going to update. There it is. It's going to update that Molly submitted hers. And then you can share it. So if you click on the student and you can see what they've done, if you hit share, look, it's showing me right here what Molly did. It's sharing it. And then if you click to the right, if there were multiple students in the lesson, if you keep clicking, you'll see more students and you can share, 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 and share. And then you can close it and go to the next slide to start the next one. This is another interactive one. Okay, so this is one. I'm going to do Molly's work over here. And we're going to hit submit. Again, if you use the timer feature, the kids don't have to use the submit function. They can just wait for that timer to be up. and then I'm going to see hers. If you click on it and you hit the share button, it's going to show all of your students, each student that you hit the share button for. So again, super cool feature to be able to use. So this is kind of just what it looks like as a teacher, and your students are seeing everything pretty much the same, except for on those interactive slides, they're able to actually draw on them and only see their own until you share their work. So that is how you would see what your students are doing and how you would continue on through your lesson with Nearpod. Now I get asked the question all the time. Let me stop screen sharing here, hang on. I get asked the question all the time, like, how do I toggle between a slideshow and Nearpod? You don't. The best way to do it is to create all of your slides in Nearpod. Well, you don't have to create them in Nearpod, but at least create them and then transfer everything to Nearpod, whether it's interactive or not. That's the way to go. I would not have a separate presentation or a separate slideshow with Google Slides or Canva or PowerPoint or whatever. I would make sure that I have it all integrated into the same one with Nearpod. That way you're not having to toggle between two and the students are looking at you on Zoom on one thing and then Nearpod up on the other. Now, when it comes to what kind of devices do students need to use, how many, all of that, that is spelled out for you in the resource that I'm providing, and that's also provided for the parents as well. Students can use one device or two devices. My child has only used one ever, which would be this laptop. It is a touchscreen laptop, but she has the ability to split the screen, so she can put Nearpod up on one side and Zoom up on the other. But again, that is something that I give you detail on in that resource that I'm making available to you guys. Now let's go and take a look at what it looks like to utilize Nearpod in a flex class. Okay, so here we are again, and same thing. If you hover over the Nearpod lesson and you see those three options, for a flex class, you're going to choose student paced. Now this is how I do it for my own flex classes. I utilize that link button again, and that is where I post it into the classroom and give them the link every time that I have a video for them to watch along with Nearpod activities. Now you can change how long they have to view this link or view or complete these Nearpod activities. For me, since my flex classes are 4 weeks, I do it for like 5 weeks out. So I give them that extra week just to get it done in case they fall behind or life happens. But that's up to you as to how long they have to complete those lessons. And you can change that just by clicking on the expiration date. You can change it really to whatever you want. I don't think that there's any limitation on that from what I know. So you can change how long they have to do that. So again, for flex classes, the easiest way to go about it is to click that student paste button, and then you can use the link button to copy the link. You have the ability to email it, but you don't have parent emails, obviously, in Outschool. So there's just different ways you can do it. Again, Outschool, if it weren't Outschool, you could use Google Classroom or whatever. There's other options. But for Outschool, the best bet is to use that link button and to post it under the Classroom tab in Outschool. So there you go. Really and truly, that's the basics of it. It's very simple on the teacher side how to get it set up. What's difficult is explaining it to the parents and making sure that each child is logged in and is able to see you on Zoom and able to see the Nearpod lesson so that they can interact. Now, if for some reason there's a situation where a student isn't able to write on the screen, maybe they don't have a touch screen and they're not comfortable using a mouse. Another question that I get. Yes, this happens. Now, my own child, she knows how to use a mouse. She's not perfect at it, but I personally think it's a great way for them to learn. But not every parent feels the same way. So if it's a situation where they only have a mouse and no touch screen, then you could always offer for them to maybe air write or to type in the chat box to you the answer that they think that it is, if it's like a quiz or a poll or something like that. That's always an option. But again, really the purpose of these is to make the lessons interactive, super engaging, and to be able to explain it well to the parents so that they don't get too confused or overwhelmed, which hopefully is something that I'm going to be providing with you with this resource that I've created. Okay, I'm having to do a voiceover because I messed up. The link in my description box is for the resource that you can find on my blog, so go check it out. Please go check it out so that you can get your own copy of this resource to share with your parents, and in order to make it easier for you to know how to navigate them in this situation. It shows you a lot of the student view and what it looks like for them to set up Zoom and Nearpod at the same time, whether that's with one device or with 2 devices. I've worked really hard on this. More than I thought that I was going to work on this. So I hope that it's a huge asset to you guys. And I really can't wait to see you guys using Nearpod in your lessons. And there's a quote that I shared on my Instagram recently that I wanted to share here as well, because I felt like it pertained so well to using Nearpod and getting started with it. And hopefully it'll be inspiring to you, because it was for me. It's actually been inspiring for me in a lot of aspects. But it's don't get good and then start. Just start and then you'll get good. So if you're so nervous to use Nearpod, the only way that you're going to get good at it and to learn more about it is for you to just get started using it. Honestly, not every class is going to run smoothly, I'm sure, but again, the more you use it, the easier it's going to get. And I promise you that the students are going to love it. And I'm really excited to hear what you guys think. Shoot me a comment down below. Tell me if you've used Nearpod in your lessons or not, and tell me how they've been. I can't wait to hear from you guys, and I will come back to you soon with information on how I create my own Nearpod lessons. I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.